over to Sydney. According to the Australian government, the Department of Health there, as of 6 a.m. on March 25, there have been 2,252 confirmed cases of the coronavirus COVID-19, and there have been 429 new cases since 6 a.m. yesterday. Let's verify that and get an update from our EBC correspondent in Sydney, Australia, Diana Pedro. Diana, how are you?
Hi, Alma.
Hi, Diana. How are you?
Hi, Alma. I'm very good. Thank you. And yes, what you said was right. Let me just repeat that. As of
Yes.
6 a.m. today, 25th of March, there has been 2,252 confirmed cases of COVID-19 here in Australia. That was up by 429 since 6 a.m. yesterday. The highest number is recorded still here in New South Wales at 1,029. And this is followed by Victoria at 411 and Queensland at 397. And so far, we have a death toll of 8. The latest casualty just yesterday is a female in her 70s and was a passenger from the Ruby Princess cruise ship, which was allowed to disembark here in Sydney last week. And in fact, Alma, from that same cruise ship, more than 130 passengers already contracted coronavirus. But on a lighter note, despite that we have 8 deaths so far, we have 118 people who have recovered. So that's something positive. And to mitigate the spread of the virus, as you may have heard, non-essential businesses were required to shut down in the past couple of days. Additions to that list that took effect from midnight today, and they call these stage 2 restrictions, are shopping center food courts except takeaways, beauty salons, auctions, non-food markets, museums and galleries, and play, recreation, and sports centers. Appointments with barbers and hairdressers are allowed, but with a 30-minute limit. Boot camps and outdoor personal training are allowed, but limited to 10 people. Weddings are limited to 5 people, and funerals to 10 people. The government also placed a ban on overseas travel for Australians, except for aid workers and important government travel. Schools remain open, and the government is meeting with the Australian Education Union on the next steps. Meanwhile, as you saw in the videos, we see a significant decrease of beachgoers to one of Sydney's most famous tourist destinations, Bondi Beach. Just a few days ago, Alma, a viral photo of the beach circulated on social media, filled with people, business as usual, as if there's nothing going on. But now it looks like the Aussies are starting to take the government's warnings more seriously, which is a good thing. That's it now for Australia. Alma?
Over there in Australia, Diana, how is the government of Australia taking care of its health workers at the front line? Do you have an idea?
For the health workers, it's not any different compared to other countries. So they're providing personal protective equipment, and then they're making sure that the health workers are covered in terms of benefits. And in general, also, the government is taking very good care of the country's workforce. So it has announced just a few days ago that it's going to give additional incentives to people who are going to lose some business or lose their jobs because of this pandemic.
How would you say this emergency compared to other emergencies that your country has experienced?
This pandemic is...
yeah, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, this pandemic is of massive proportions. If you remember, Alma, we just survived the massive bushfires that we had by the end of last year, and then now we have this, and although the bushfires were, I would say, localized in certain regions, this epidemic is felt by everyone.
Yes.
So, as an example, as I mentioned, employees are losing their jobs, and although the government is giving them incentives, these people who lost their jobs, they're responsible adults. They haven't had to ask the government for help before, and now they have to do that. So they're a bit embarrassed, but it is what it is. And luckily, the government is ready to back us up.
Have curfews been implemented there as well?
No, there are no curfews. We could still go out to buy essential supplies if we have any appointments to the medical centers. If we have to work that we cannot do work from home, we're still allowed to go out.
Okay. What positive thing can you see out of all this as a final word, Diana?
I think I would say in general the Australians are really taking good care of their neighbors. So there was one news that I saw earlier because the toilet tissue rolls here we're losing stock of it. So there are people who have lots of stock in their homes and then they're giving it away.
Oh, that's nice. Oh, what about food? Do you have enough supply in the
Yeah, we still
supermarkets?
have enough supplies of food. Yeah.
Well, in the US and the UK, no, there have been occasions when the population failed to heed the government calls for self-quarantines. Do you have any similar incidents there?
Yeah, we had it in the beginning. So the beachgoers to the Bondi Beach, that viral photo, that was one example. But slowly people are getting it. They're starting to follow the government's instructions.
All right. Thank you very much, Diana.
Thank you, Alma. And this is Diana Pedro from New South Wales, Australia. We live in interesting times.